I can do anything. I can reach any goal today. I can do what I want. I can be what I want to be.
G'day folks and welcome to the Round 9 24/7 team selection. General Manager of Football Operations, Andrew McKay, is with me. And Macca, dare I say, it's been a big week at the club. First and foremost, how are the players feeling?
No, the players are pretty good. They're a resilient mob, the players, so they've got a job to do. Obviously, this Friday night against the Sydney Swans, and we're looking forward to them putting their best foot forward. And
John Barker obviously taking the reins over. How's John feeling? Because to take over in these circumstances and to take over as a senior coach at any time would be a little bit nerve-wracking, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm sure. And obviously, this week he's pushed for time. He found out yesterday afternoon, so it hasn't got a lot of time to prepare. And there's obviously a lot of preparation that the senior coach has to do that the assistant coaches don't usually have to worry about. So he's under the pump this week, but I'm sure he'll stand up and do a great job.
Let's get straight into it. Friday night football at the SCG tomorrow night. Doesn't get much bigger than taking on a reigning grand finalist in the Sydney Swans. Let's start across the back line, and starting with Sam Rowe, Zach Toohey, and the 50th game for Simon White. He's a player that I always find has a little bit of mongrel about him out on the field, and he likes to intimidate where he can, Simon White. I love watching him play.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, he's going to give 100% effort all the time, Simon. So looking forward to a solid matchup on a pretty good player there, and at least we know he'll give it his all.
Let's go into the halfbacks now, starting with Dennis Armfield, Cade Simpson, who last week was arguably Carlton's best against the Cats with 30 possessions, and Chris Yarran. Cade Simpson not only offers that experience, but also the leadership as well when he's on the field.
Yeah, and I suppose he's the real spirit of the team in a sense, the old stalwart, and you can always rely on Simo. I think people who have been following Carlton for quite some time often rank him as one of their favourite players, just by the way he goes about his football.
Are the defenders feeling more pressure at the moment, given the way the scores have gone in recent weeks, or is it something that we have to sit down and say, well, it's a whole team thing, it's not just the defence?
It certainly is a whole team thing, team defence we call it. The mids have to get back, the forwards have to push up, but certainly the ball's been down there a lot. It does put the defence under enormous pressure, but they've got to beat their opponent and then wait for the cavalry to arrive.
Let's have a look at the midfield for the clash against the Swans, starting with Ed Curnow. Good to see Lockie Henderson back from that hamstring injury, missed a couple of weeks, and Andrew Carazzo, who was laid out last week. He's back to take on the Swans.
Yeah, Andrew's back in the team, which is fantastic. Had a bit of bone bruising to his knee, sustained that a couple of weeks ago. Lockie's been out for a few weeks, so it'd be great to see him back. As we know Lockie's a quality forward or back. This week he'll be up forward, and I'm sure he'll put his best foot forward.
Let's have a look at the rest of our midfielders to take on the Swans, starting with Tom Bell, having a pretty good season, given where the Blues are at, averaging 19 possessions. Cameron Wood and Patrick Cripps, who, again, is one of those players that I think Blues fans are becoming familiar with and really enjoying starting to watch.
Yeah, both Patrick and Tom are big-bodied midfielders, and certainly that's what we need against Sydney this weekend. They have got a fair midfield and a bit of size about them too, so I'm sure these boys won't get pushed around. It'll be a great contest.
Across the half-forward line now, starting with Dale Thomas. A couple of goals last week against the Cats. Andreas Everett, who leads all his teammates for marks this season. And good to see Andrew Walker back as well. His first game since round 4 against Brisbane. Again, a player who brings leadership in returning.
Yeah, he's an experienced player, Andrew, and again, a little bit like Lockie, he can go forward or back, so he's got that versatility. So looking forward to Andrew being back in the team to provide some run for us.
There will be questions as to whether or not Dale Thomas may have felt the loss of the departure of Mick Malthouse a little bit harder than the other players. Is that a fair assessment?
Oh, probably. Mick had a really good relationship with all the players, so obviously knew Daisy for a greater period of time, and Daisy's played under Mick for a longer time, of course. So Daisy's probably feeling the pinch a little bit, disappointed, but certainly, he's got a job to do, and I'm sure he'll go very well.
Yeah, certainly one that'll want to put some marks on the board under new coach John Barker. And across the full forward line now, starting with Troy Menzel, who was outstanding last week. 4 goals, 1. He kept the Blues into the game to a point. Liam Jones and Levi Casbolt as well. I want to just start on Liam Jones, and if you were to just lock down his game, Macca, what would be the one thing you'd really want him to improve on?
Needs to improve on his defensive pressure. We don't want that ball to come spitting back out of the forward line too quickly. And we know Sydney Swans rebound it really well. They've got some run in that back line. So they need to work hard, and certainly Liam needs to work hard to keep that ball in there as much as possible.
And just a quick word on Levi Casbolt as well. Just the 3 marks last week against Geelong. What's a reasonable number for a player of his size?
Well, certainly more than 3, given that he didn't go in the ruck last week, and we thought it would be a great opportunity to get Levi in his best possible form, taking a number of marks and kicking a number of goals. It wasn't to be last week, but we're hopeful, very hopeful that it will be to be this Friday night.
Now let's have a look at the interchange bench, starting with Dylan Buckley, the sub last week. We'll be interested to see whether or not he gets the green vest to take on the Swans. Sam Doherty, who hasn't missed a game this season, averaging 21 possessions, probably one of the most consistent for the team. Jason Tutt and Nick Graham, the fans have been wanting to see more of him. They'll get their chance when he lines up for his second game of the season. Obviously, Mac, of the loss of Bryce Gibbs and Chris Judd this week, it's a loss to the club, but do you feel that that opens the door to some of the other players as well to put their stamp on this team?
Yeah, it certainly provides opportunity for a couple of younger guys to step up, which will be a great experience for them against a really good opposition. So always sad to see talent not playing, but opportunity prevails.
And are you confident that that fight and that spark can be reignited after the events of the week? Maybe the group does become a bit more galvanised now?
Yeah, I think so, and I certainly hope so. I mean, it's what we need to understand, that there's no panacea. I mean, we've still got a long way to go. We still need to work really, really hard. We've got some good processes in place, and it's going to take some time. So looking for good, solid improvement over the next few weeks.
It's all up to John Barker and the team now. Friday night footy, SCG, go the Blues.